Six Nations 2024, folks. Earlier today, I was joined by three former international rugby players: Bernard Jackman from Ireland, Adam Jones from Wales, and Nick Easter from England. The lads came along and talked a bit of Six Nations, wrapped up the competition, and also wrapped up our Perfect Player series. If you haven't seen the Perfect Player series, we have been basically combining some of rugby's kind of important attributes: power, speed, leadership, kicking, and defence, to form the perfect rugby player, just like you can form a kind of ideal portfolio with our sponsor eToro. We're doing it for kind of rugby skills. The lads came on and talked some rugby. We will have a look at what they had to say. But first, I need to say a quick thank you to eToro, who bring you this episode. They are the official investing and trading partner of Premiership Rugby. Tackle investing the smart way and join millions of UK investors on eToro today, the friendly platform for serious investors. eToro is a multi-asset investment platform. The value of your investment may go up or down. Your capital is at risk. But yeah, cheers to eToro for bringing us this entire series, which has been joined by some great rugby names, and we've had some great rugby chats. Here's the chat we had with the lads earlier today. Welcome along, everybody. I am joined by Bernard Jackman, Adam Jones, and Nick Easter to once again talk a little bit of Six Nations with the competition having concluded, and then talk about our perfect player, which we have been building throughout this competition. Bernard, mate, I'm going to start with you. Ireland won the Six Nations. What's the feeling? Is it kind of jubilation to do this back-to-back mission, which was the target, or is there any disappointment about it wasn't a Grand Slam?
Yeah, no, I think there is, to be fair. We're delighted, obviously, to win it, but I think after the way we started, particularly against France in Marseille, it looked like other teams were a little bit off form, and the chance to create history and win a back-to-back Grand Slam, which has never been done, certainly looked to be on. But then we got taught a lesson in Twickenham. I thought England were brilliant on the day. And then I think we expected a backlash against Scotland, and we struggled really, and we kind of looked like a tired team. We looked like a team that maybe were predictable at the end, and we kind of limped over the line. Obviously, we had 15 points going into after 3 rounds, and got 1 against England and got 4 at the weekend. But yeah, there's probably a little bit of feeling of England and France probably finished with more momentum, to be honest. But obviously, I think we've got 5 players now who have 5 Six Nations, which for an Irish rugby player is incredible. And I think they are the best Irish team ever. And we should be very grateful for them. But just, yeah, we probably just didn't convince in the last 2 weeks. England exposed us maybe against powerful teams that we'll struggle. And then Scotland defended very well. And we just struggled to capitalize on opportunities. So credit to them. But yeah, it's a little bit mixed, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess it's an encouraging place to be if there is mixed emotions after kind of a back-to-back Six Nations. But Adam, mate, Wales's campaign slightly different. What's the kind of feeling after picking up that wooden spoon, which nobody wanted?
It was a bit different to Ireland's, to be fair. Obviously, Bernard's very it seems a bit down. Ireland won the championship and they're the best team by country mile. So imagine being Welsh. And we're now it was tough, but I was kind of in the squad early, sort of training with the squad 2003 when we won it. Well, do you win the wooden spoon? I don't know, but so it was a tough watch. I think as much as it's been said around the young players coming through, I think that's a good thing around that, but we still looked a wee bit off. But I think you still, being Welsh, you still expect, as I said earlier, you expect, or certainly, you'd fancy yourself to beat Italy at home, and so that was kind of the disappointing. We put a good performance every now and again. Second half, Scotland, Ireland kind of pulled away late. France pulled away late against us. England, we were in the game for a fair bit, so I don't know whether it was one game too far. And it's a young team. He'll get better, obviously. Dewi Lake will come back in. Jack Morgan will come back in. Where there's different players there, so the 2 captains. But having said that, with going in there with a 21-year-old captain, Dav Jenkins being outstanding, and massive pressure on his shoulders, and bless him, his shoulders when he got interviewed after the game against Italy. But look, he's been phenomenal for us. As a 21-year-old in that position, the work really gets through, and he can only be proud. So it's obviously disappointing as a country for the wooden spoon, but hopefully we can, start building blocks in place now.
Yeah, well, Australia are on the cards for your boys in a few months, and they're in a similar position. So maybe that'll be a good tour. Nick, man, England started with a few kind of critics talking about Steve Borthwick and how maybe things weren't going according to plan. Has he put a little bit of that to bed with the course of the tournament?
He's certainly given himself some breathing space, and I actually think England are in a good place. There have been a number of false dawns since the 2003 era regards England's ability to play with ambition and attacking threat alongside traditional strengths of set piece and defence. A less conservative outlook, you would say. But actually, I know Steve Borthwick well, and he is methodical, he is detailed, he is diligent, and he will have a long-term plan. He's backed by the RFU. He's got to be backed by the RFU. They can't afford to pay anyone else off after what happened with Eddie Jones et al. So he knows he's got another 4 years, or he's got to the World Cup. And he's been quite clear on his plan. Steve's not one of those to play with the media and second guess. He'll just say how it is. It might not sound that energetic or enthusiastic, but he'll say how it is. And what we've seen is a new defence system, which I like. Teething problems there, but bought from South Africa's Jacques Nienenba's system. In effect, to get the ball back as quickly as possible and put the opposition under pressure and completely mess up their attacking flow and what have you. And then when you get that ball back, you've seen England actually want to impose their game in terms of getting the ball in hand. And we know we had a bit of an issue against Scotland with our catching and passing, which is probably as bad as I've seen it. But boy, did the guys put in the work in the 2 weeks leading to Ireland. And I think the last 2 games you've seen really, really positive strides. None more so probably than looking at a guy, an old warrior like George Ford, and how he played against France and how he is now taking the ball to the game line like he was when I played with him back in like 2014 or whatever. But he sort of regressed, got back into that sort of conservative kicking English mindset. And look, you've got to kick obviously in the game, we know that. But his option taking against France and his passing flat to the line was back to his best. And England will be confident. They'll be confident. They've got momentum, and I don't think it's a false dawn. I do think it's there to stay.
Yeah, well, we look forward to welcoming those boys down to NZ a bit later in the year, and certainly watching a Steve Borthwick press conference is a touch different from watching an Eddie Jones one. But yeah, everyone is a wee bit different. Hey, now this Perfect Player series, we're combining power, speed, leadership, kicking, and defense. So we had guys like Bundyaki for power, Blair Kinghorn for speed, Peter Romani for his leadership, Tommy Allen for his kicking, and Paul Gabriag for his defense. Now, obviously, that would be a hell of a player to have on the field. I was trying to think historically, have I seen any player quite like that? John Eales is the guy that kind of springs to mind. He might not have had Blair Kinghorn's speed, but he was certainly a hell of a leader. He kicked goals for a lock, which was incredible, powerful guy. Bernard, can you think of anybody who kind of combines those kind of attributes either historically or in the game these days?
I like Dan Sheehan. He mightn't be a kicker, but he's incredibly quick for a hooker. Set piece is good. A leader in terms of what he does. Very explosive, good skill set. Try score. The only thing he can kick. I've seen him kick in schools, but he hasn't done international level yet. But for me, he's probably nearly the perfect player, I think.
Yeah, he is. It's a weird one. When you look, I'm a big stats guy. Whenever you look at the stats, you wouldn't know he's a hooker to see all the kind of run meters and whatnot that he clocks up. And some of those Irish guys, I guess maybe it's the Gaelic football background, do seem to have a pretty decent boot on them. But yeah, Adam, how about for you? Anybody you can think of that combines all those kind of key attributes?
I was kind of thinking a long time ago. It was a Welsh flanker called John Taylor, who was a left-footed kicker as well. So he was a London Welsh stalwart. I was actually thinking Nick Easter, but I haven't spent a couple of seasons with him. Shocking kicker. So I wouldn't have gone.
No speed.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah, but maybe I forgot about the speed. But I'm going to go. He's retired now, but Justin Tipperick.
Oh yes.
He's quick, strong. Good leader with the Ospreys. I've seen him. He's scored a worldie when he caught the ball for kickoff, chipped over the fullback and scored under the post. So yeah. Obviously, Wales, could probably do with him, do with him in and around the squad at the moment. But yeah, he'd probably be probably encompasses all those different skills, I think.
Yeah, well, Jack Morgan coming back will hopefully bring a few of those kind of
Yeah.
similar attributes as well. Nick, anybody comes to mind?
Yeah, well, I had a feeling Bernard and Bom might stick loyal to their own country, so I've done the sort of same thing, and I've gone a bit further back in time to a guy that played in my team, Lawrence Delaney. I don't think you need to say much regards his leadership. Ben Earl's try against Wales this year brought back memories of Lawrence Delalio's in 2000, which showed plenty of power, plenty of pace. The guy was born with fast twitch fibers. Great leadership, as you said. Defensively, he always managed to find himself on the wrong side of the ruck, but never get penalised or tactical yellow cards whenever the moment arose for Wasps or England. Got on the right side of the ref, wrong side of the ruck. Like all great back rowers, like your very own Richie McCaw. And kicking wise, right? So that's always the Justin Tipperick. We've spoken about his kicking. John Taylor about his kicking. He wasn't a great kicker, but he does have a drop goal in Premiership rugby to his name. Leeds Tykes away, and Wasps went up there for an away game, and they forgot their shirts, so they had to wear the Leeds Tykes away shirts, where Leeds wore the home shirts, and he actually hit a drop goal to win the game on a Sunday. Wow. I do remember that. So he does have kicking in his arsenal, although not frequently. It wasn't used that much.
Oh, incredible! Not many guys can say that they've done that kind of thing. But yeah, all right, lads. Well, that's pretty much it. Cheers for coming along once again. It was a cracking Six Nations, and we look forward to the mid-year internationals to see where every guy, all the teams are at. But yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks very much.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Well, there you go, folks. Thanks once again to Bernard, to Adam, and to Nick for coming along. It was great to have a catch up with them. The Six Nations in 2024 has been a cracker. Thank you, eToro, for giving us this opportunity, sponsoring these episodes to bring these guys on. It's been really special. And yeah, cheers to Planet Rugby as well, who've also been involved. So yes, you guys take care of yourselves. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.